Hi, welcome and good afternoon or good evening or good day, wherever you are. Welcome to my presentation here. My name is Mohamud Ali Mohamud, and I would like to present here a presentation relating to my research, my master's thesis research, relating to understanding and addressing the root causes of migrant youth crime in Norway. So this research is related to studying about this topic, and the country of study is Norway, and the population group that I have been focusing on this study was the migrant youth in Norway, and the social problem that I've been studying was crime, the youth crime. So welcome, and let us start if you are ready. Yes, so why have I chosen this topic? The first point is that being an African migrant in Norway has given me unique experience and understanding of the social integration challenges in majorly homogeneous society as of Norway. So being having my background and also migrating to Norway has given me special experience that I have thought I can share with the people, and also at the same time also find the relevant elements needed to study about this issue. And also the second point is related to crime itself, that it has been being affiliated mostly in the media and in the political discourse overly with migrants, thus lacking enough research supporting the argument is specifically conducted by people with migrant background. And the third point is that crime dynamics in Norway has also been changing lately with overrepresentation of migrants in the statistics. Therefore, I got the urge to study the root causes of this social problem, as well as understanding its nexus with migration. So these were the points that have given me the motivation to conduct this research. So let us go to the next. So the research objectives. This research had three objectives. The first one was understanding and addressing the factors relating as the root causes of migrant youth criminality in Norway, taking an aspect of comparison between the first and second generation migrants, as well as studying youth crime trends in Western countries such as the United States and the United Kingdom. Yeah, because of their similarities, both yeah, of all those countries. The second point is that I was trying to examine whether health or social or integration challenge stand as a key factor of migrant youth crime in Norway. And the third objective is to offer recommendations that can go some way towards disentangling the issues of crime and migration in Norway. So the approach of the study was through literature review or secondary data. I have read all the available articles relating to this topic, and also the articles that I was reading was peer reviewed journalists, and also some great literature. So, and these published materials were written in both English and some of them in Norwegian. So I've read, and also some of them in Swedish. Although I'm not so competent in Swedish, but I've tried, at least it's understandable, and some was also in Danish. So yeah, so I've collected a lot of secondary data to understand about the issue in all Scandinavian countries also. And also I've conducted semi-structured interviews where I've talked to, where I've had some discussions with people involved in this field of study. All of them by chance have become females, and these people were working. One of them was a leader of a social work program in a municipality, and the second one was working at a research institute here in Norway, and the third one is working at a support center for victims of violence and traumatic stress and suicidal issues. So these are the interview questions that I have used in my interviews with the people that I've talked to. So the questions were related to understanding about crime, and also understanding the social issues, and also the governance related issues in the country, and also the perception of the people. So the first question was related, what are the root causes of migrant youth crime in Norway, and how is crime among migrant communities understood in Norway? Yeah, so I've asked all of these questions to the people I've spoken to, and also got feedback. So the findings of this research, um, and the analysis is also an important factor here. So the major task of writing about the research itself involves working out how to make contextually grounded theoretical points that are viewed as a contribution by the relevant professional community of readers, according to Golden Beetle and Locke 1997, page 20. He said that. So it's the part that gives the meaning of all of the research itself, because here the researcher has to narrate and also retell and also analyze all the information that has been collected in both also the literature and readings, and also the interviews one has conducted. So the sample size in this qualitative research was not so big, because I've only got chance to talk to 3 people, and this was also partly due to the situation, the pandemic, coronavirus, and also the summer vacation time that has collided with my research time, and also that it has been also difficult to get people willing to talk about this issue, as it is very sensitive matter in this country. So all of those issues has also contributed somehow to not accessing a good number of people to talk to. So it has been part of also the challenges related in conducting this research. But I have succeeded in achieving or getting in touch with 3 relevant people that have been working many years in this field. So it has been also a positive thing to have achieved also the 3 people. So after conducting the interviews, what I did was to analyze this information, and also I have used a software called InVivo to analyze my information, and also code and visualize the qualitative data. And also for the interviews, I have used it to make the transcripts through the verbatim, and also yeah. And also this picture here you see is the word frequency cloud of the 50 most repeated words in the interview transcripts. So here the word people was the word that was mostly used by the interviewees in their interviews, and it shows that also a humane approach that people think the Norwegian, the respondents have thought about the migrants as people. So, and it shows that humane perception that they have about the migrants. So yeah. So the second most used word was crime, and the third was Norway, which also says about the issue that I've been studying about. Yeah. So I have identified using the InVivo, so I have identified axiomatic codes and also derived code in all of the 3 interviews via an open coding process, and all axial codes were then categorized and converted into selective codes or themes. So the themes that came up after analyzing the transcripts were 2. So the first one was the causes of the youth crimes, theme 1. That was the theme that I have found was the thing that most of the people were, and it's related also to the questions, because what are the root causes of the migrant youth crime was the first question. So the theme 1 became the causes of youth crime and what the responses were of the interviews. And the second theme that I came into was the remedies to overcome migrant youth criminality. So the causes of youth crime, theme 1, when we talk about, following analysis of the interview transcripts, the first theme identified and interpreted was causes of youth crime, and consisted of 3 sub-themes, namely socioeconomic factors, governance-related factors, and also crime and migration relationships. So when the interviewees have talked about the socioeconomic factors, they have identified several things that are uh, responsible for the socio-economic factors existence as a cause of the youth crime. For example, poor living conditions, racism and socioeconomic differences, social isolation was named, also difficulties in accessing the job market, difficulties in understanding or managing the school system, economic crisis, housing problem, lack of access to health services, and negligence of migrants of migrants' parents. So all of these things are things that are related to the socioeconomic factors that also contribute as a cause of the youth crime to happen or to exist. So the second point was the governance related factors, and the governance related factors here when we are talking about, it's related to the bureaucratic system and how it works. For example, it was mentioned that heavy fines, people with migrant background get heavy fines and also they feel vulnerable. The majority of the people, they are they are not, they are, although because of their background as migrant, they are seen as also a criminal because they are thought that they are doing something wrong. So being an outsider, and also delay in permanent residences because of some yeah, felonies they do or something. And then yeah, compared to, there was this respondent mentioning about, yeah, about the how the Norwegian youth, for example, avoid being fined for not getting their yeah, because they're Norwegian citizens, so they will not suffer any residence consequences. So if a migrant youth, for example, go out in the weekend and do something wrong, so then this thing will follow up all of their lifetime, and also it can also result into them losing their papers and residence. So yeah, and also it exists also the threat of being deported always, quarantine of citizenship. Yeah. So, and misleading, of course, statistical data about migrant crimes. So, yeah. So those are the governance related issues. So now the nexus between crime and migration, based on the on the information or the interviews. So the transcripts have shown after analysis that there's a relation because of this biased association of crimes into migrant youth, for example, disregarding refugees' pain and also the suffering that people have gone through coming here. And also there is the misuse in the media and misinformation about the migrants travelers and also their stay here in this country. And also there is a need for migrants, always the migrant always have to behave as a representative of their nation. So the individuality has does not exist at all in this country. Theme 2, remedies to overcome migrant youth criminality. So this theme have several sub-themes, and the first one is creation of equal opportunities and curbing the problem of migrant youth criminality. The analysis have shown that all the following factors can be essential in dealing with the problem of migrant youth criminality, and it's also because of unfairness and in the system that these problems, these socio-economic problems also exist. Some of the points that was mentioned was as a solution was the creation of employment program for the youth. Some of these programs also exist now, but also more involvement is needed. Unconditional loans to buy electronics and clothing stuff for the youth at schools, providing of housing loans to the families of migrants and also the marginalized groups in the society, creation of employment opportunities, better educational assessment and qualifications for approval in the system, especially for the migrants, so as to access the job market. Because in Norway, every job requires a paper or some kind of qualification. So and that's why they are discriminated in the employment market. A lot of people that they lack essential skills and also knowledge to conduct their work. So, and also the second point that came up in the second theme, remedies to overcome migrant crime youth crime is related to differentiation of migrant types, or understanding the migration backgrounds of the people, because in the media the migrants are not individualized, they are seen as a group of people, all of them are considered as the same. So people from one ethnicity represent, like one person represents for the whole ethnic people of that country. So and also the reason of migration is different here, because some people came here for work, there is labor migration, and there is also asylum migration, and also refugees. So understanding that also will change or maybe ease the problem. That was the findings also. So understanding that the individual variable in statistics, because each number you see in these statistics of crime or in every other statistics, it has its that person or that number has its own history. So you need to understand that. And also the living conditions, and also the demographics, where they came from, the color, the many things to consider here, and the regional background. In terms of future policies for better social integration, to as a mode of remedies to overcome the migrant youth crime, these points were also mentioned. This association crime with religion, for example, because religion, people with from Muslim countries are seen as criminals entering into the country. Not everyone, but the media, and also a lot of places, they consider this problem as a problem in the society, and also the politicians, because when the issue of migration is very sensitive issue these days, and it's one of the big issues that affect the political discourses. So it's being talked negatively mostly, because migrants are not seen as humans that contribute to this country. So it's also one of the big problems or the challenges here. Early orientation of migrant youth about the risks of crime and drugs, for example. The refugees came here and they don't know anything about the living conditions and everything that exists here, and the mode of life, and then they fall into this crime trap very easily, because they are new, they don't have the experience. So the integration, the social integration offices or the municipalities has to do better in informing these people about, especially the youth, about the risks related to this. And also they have to develop also mechanisms to stop exploitation of the migrants. And governance related reforms also was mentioned, and providing also activities for the youth and socio-economic. In terms of the impact of this research on policy, practice, and further research opportunities on this topic, I have just described at the surface of this social problem, so there is a dire need for in-depth study of this topic in Norway. And due to the increase of migration to the developed world, this field of study need is important, as it involves the social cohesion of the countries and the development of some of the main social issues which affect us politically, economically, and socially. So the research has confirmed the relationship between the socio-economic factors and crime, specifically confirming the vulnerability of the Norwegian migrant youth falling into crime life trap due to the many challenges related to adaptation, acceptance, and integration into the society. Undocumented migrant youth stand extremely vulnerable for exploitation, and more research is needed in devising just a system for this migrant group and solving the limbo situation they stand in. More mobilization and inclusion of migrant-led organizations in Norway's integration and social problem-solving schemes to better grasp the needed competence and knowledge in solving the migration-related issues also is needed. And more education of the youth, police, government, social offices, and society at large about human trafficking and the correlation between migration, organized crime, and marginalized migrant groups in the big cities, and establishment of a better identification and support strategy for human trafficking victims is also paramount. Thank you for your time, and if you have questions or feedback, please share with me in this email address. Thank you.